Welcome to Culture Crew Podcast, episode 5. We have celebrity Liberian chef here, Thal. Welcome, Thal.
Thank you.
So we're recording from Atlanta this weekend. Came down, obviously, to record the podcast. It's LEA weekend. Have you been to LEA?
No, actually, I have not been to LEA yet.
I haven't either, but it'll be a good experience. And I think that's the whole point of the podcast anyway, promoting Liberians and stuff like that. So I'm kind of excited to go and see all the cool stuff that Liberians are doing. Atlanta's a dope city. You've been out here for a minute. How long you been here?
I have. I actually been about 8 years. 8 years, but I've been quiet. Spent most of my time in the kitchen.
But we hearing you. You quiet, but we hearing you.
I make a little noise on social media, but besides that, trying to be a little family man, take care of a few responsibilities. That's about it. So just here trying to do a few things.
Okay, and by a few responsibilities, you mean 3, because you have 3 gorgeous, handsome boys. Tell us about fatherhood and raising boys in America.
Those are my paychecks. Actually, those are my rewards. So those are what I think God has blessed my wife and I with. 3, like you said, handsome boys. So I think we just try to raise them and just try to lead by example. I think with kids, you can talk to them, try to tell them what to do, but unless they see you in action, they don't really want to hear you. I mean, they like, Dad, they listen, but so much. But at the end of the day, they want to see what you do. So I want to be a role model and, show them hard work and show them, what life is really about.
Okay. And you mentioned you vocal on social media, whatnot. You talk about the kids a lot. Like they all have their own personality.
They do.
Taj is the youngest,
yeah, Taj
right?
is the youngest. Yeah.
And then he's kind of obviously the baby of the family, but it seems like he's also
He's everyone's favorite. Everyone loves Taj. I think, and the funny thing about it, I wasn't planning on having Taj. Like it was not a, I can't say it was a mistake baby, because there's never a mistake baby. I guess you go into it, knowing what you're doing as an adult. But I was okay with 2 at the time. I think, in America, the responsibilities of having children is a tough one. I think back in Liberia you have I think I look at it like our our generation here is like the first generation to not have hus boy and hus girl like help with the kids. So it's like our first time, like our parents had help raising us. So now this is our first time really managing life and managing kids. So just the challenges that presents, and then you're trying to work and create your own business and do the 9 to 5 and then still manage kids. So you might wake up 5:30 just to get your life together before they wake up at 6:30, and then get them situated, whether you're making their lunches, getting them ready, so it can be challenging. But no complaints. Everybody does it, so you just go through it. But yeah. Taj is everybody's favorite. Like you get when I post him, that's when you get the most likes on my I guess my post on my page. They love him.
Yeah,
I ain't mad at that.
So you talked about doing lunches in the morning. So are they doing a typical lunch? Are we getting sandwiches here, or are we getting some straight up potato greens and rice and pound butter?
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. When I did the lunch boxes, it was something that was inspired by them. So I came up. Their favorite is potato greens. So they always him and Tyson. Tobias, he has an allergic reaction to a lot of meats like poultry. Mm-hmm. So he's I guess a vegan by default.
Or is that another reason why you got into the so I'm sorry, I probably should have gotten into this in the beginning, but obviously when I said celebrity Liberian chef, Thal is the owner, CEO, creator, mastermind behind libfood.com, which we all love and which you all who don't know yet are going to love. And you're going to thank me for it. Your waistline might not, but you're definitely going to be super happy about this. But yeah, so you mentioned the vegan dishes because I noticed on libfood.com you're offering, which is not typical for Liberian food.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you gotta have all the yama yama inside.
Right.
So is that part of the reason why you started thinking, okay, your son doesn't like it? It's where the world is going. A lot of people are doing this whole plant-based and just vegans. Is that why you decided to do some vegan dishes?
Right. So I think, as an entrepreneur, you're more of a problem solver. So along your path and along your journey, you come up with. So it's like this, I guess, long maybe test or long Scantron that you're filling out, the ABC or all of the above. So you're constantly working, you're constantly solving problems. So you come across clients or maybe, in your own circle or sometimes your own family or your own kids that have these situations where, Tobias, for instance, doesn't eat meat. Or like my wife is also vegan, so she wants to indulge. So it's like, what do you do? So you're making it at home, and then you say, hey, there are other people that want to try it as well. And then you also have clients that say, hey, would you mind making me a vegan dish? And then, you think that, okay, if these people are trying it, are there other people out there that may want to explore or their palates or their dietary needs call for it? And then you open that up to the market, and I think so far we've received, that took off. I think
Wow.
I didn't think, and the thing is, with that, I think the flavor profile really, it doesn't take away from the food. I think a lot of people think because it's vegan, it won't taste as good. But Liberian food is the best of the best, right? And I say that humbly, because as a trained chef, you look at all the broth and the stocks, right? So that's the basics or the fundamentals of cooking, whether you're making it with bones or you're making it with meats, like your soup base. But with us, you're taking all the different meat kinds. You're taking pork, which, pig foot and different things, or you're taking beef, or you're taking chicken, you're taking turkey, you're taking like chicken foot for some people might not eat it, but chicken foot has a gelatinous property in it that gives our food a velvety texture that's smooth when you're eating it. You know what I'm saying? So people, whether you eat it or not, I personally, I'll put it out there, I don't eat chicken foot, but the taste that you get from the stock having that in the stock is unmatched. So it's like, if you have that in your stock to begin with, you can't lose.
Wow.
So just having that in the food, you don't so whether you have, at the end of the day, whether you have meat in it or not, but from the vegan standpoint, then you have to just cook with vegetables. So you have to take that out and then flavor your food with vegetables. But if you might have clients that say, hey, I don't want to eat beef, but I would like for you to flavor it with your regular stock.
Okay.
You understand? So it's kind of like people may say, I'm a baby vegan. I'm entry level. I just want to eat vegetables, but I don't mind you using your regular stock.
Yeah.
But in the case where my son is allergic to, if you have a strong allergy, then you may want to stay away from our regular stock. But they specific, because we do custom dishes. We do dishes for people say, hey, they will specifically let us know, this is what I do. And, we mark it on their, custom orders. And then we keep that file. We keep those notes of that client that says, hey, this is what I eat and this is how I eat it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, what got you? Because you definitely you used one term on me just now. I can't remember the name of the term you used. I'm like, okay, so you know what you're doing, one, and we know that because I've tried your food. Definitely know, but the science behind it, you definitely have that knowledge. So, when did you know that you got into chefing? How did you become over the stove?
Man, to be honest with you, when I failed at everything else, Corporate America sometimes can be brutal. I mean, I've been fired, I've been laid off, I've been rejected, I've been turned away, I've been unemployed, I've been, damn near depressed. So it's like when you're in that position, you got to roll your sleeves up, and people like, you wear your heart on your sleeve. So if your sleeves roll up, you got to put your heart on your fist. You got to fight. You got to fight your way out of it. And I just fought my way out of it. The cooking, like the passion. So you got the skill set of cooking, and the entrepreneurship is something that it's always been in me, because like I grew up in like a restaurant. Like my mom had a restaurant named after my brother and I. Okay. So like from 7, I grew up in that. So
in Liberia.
Yeah.
Okay.
That came natural to me. So from that age, just knowing that, but I've never seen cooking as something, as like a successful career, simply because no one in my family doing it was ever successful. I mean, we were poor. Like we were church, what do they call it? Church house rat poor, right? So growing up, I seen the work. I seen how much work they put in. I seen like they slaving over the stove, and like how are the bills not being paid? So that's not encouraging. That's not something that tells me like, oh, Thal, go into this because it's rewarding.
Right.
So the only reward in that is the satisfaction you get from people saying, man,
you can cocoa.
Yeah, that's about it, right? So what would make you go, you know what I'm saying? So I said, okay, so now we come to America, and I'm like, okay, we've gone through I mean, everybody knows about the war, so we've gone through that, and then we're in a place where we're experiencing discomfort, like because we're away from home. And then my subconscious is telling me there's a need, and like we're displaced, and there's a need for that. So there's a need, because I give you a story. When we first got here, my parents, they couldn't afford to have us, so they pretty much just dropped us off.
In America.
Yeah.
Okay. They couldn't afford to have you in America, in Liberia.
No, they couldn't afford to be here.
Okay.
And to house us.
Okay, gotcha.
So they pretty much dropped us off. And 2 of my aunts were, I mean, I thank God for them because they were willing to hold us. My aunt, Auntie Sophie in Minnesota, was able to hold me, and my Auntie Titi in Virginia was able to hold my brother. So I get to Minnesota with my Auntie Sophie, and we would like have 4 cousins. So we're in like a 2-bedroom apartment, living there. So we're like 5. And, just staying there with them. So it was like my first time being away from like my core family. And that was tough. So, but like one experience I had, and then we finally moved to like a house. And then, I thought we was like way out in the country. And then my uncle, I was like, man, what we gonna do out here? We gonna go hunting or something? And my uncle, he was from Haiti. He was like, yeah, we're gonna go hunting. And I was like, okay. So, but like Minnesota is so cold. We used to keep like our groceries outside, like the sodas, the bread, everything outside. So he hunting now. He was talking about, man, we're killing. He talking about raccoon. We're gonna kill raccoon. So this dude, listen, this dude, he actually had me one night. The sliding glass door. It had like a stick to hold the thing open so like people don't try to get in. So he said, grab the stick. So he said at night, raccoon and her come by the house. So just open the door a little bit and put a stick there. When the raccoon pass, knock it, and would die. So I like, what the puppet?
And like the sliding door would kill it.
Yeah, no.
You gotta be quick.
No, to just open the crack.
Yeah.
And then put the stick there and then beat it on the head and then would die. So I'm like, what the puppet? So I'm like, okay, all right. So I went, I knocked the raccoon died. The next day he said,
so it worked. Okay.
That he hunting.
He knew what he was talking about.
That he hunting. So I killed a raccoon the next morning. He said, Sophie, got a raccoon. So I'm like, what? So he got a raccoon for Auntie Sophie to cook. So I'm like, we about to eat raccoon? Like, what is Papi doing? So they cooked the raccoon. I'm like, yo, I'm not eating that. There's no way. I came from like brother America to enjoy hamburgers and stuff. Like, dude, I'm not about to eat no raccoon. So I call my brother Gus. I call him. He up in Virginia. I'm like, man, what y'all have for what y'all eat? He's like, man, we went to Tyson's Corner, had like lobsters and some.
I'm done. I'm done.
I'm like, dude. So
We out here eating raccoon.
we out here eating raccoon. I'm like, yo, I gotta move. I gotta move. So but so that I knew at that point, like, when we talked about it, like I was missing like home cooked Liberian meals.
Yeah. But was the raccoon good?
No. I told you, like I did.
You really didn't eat it.
No, I'm a picky eater. Hell no, I ain't eating no. I ain't eating no. And I kind of hate to put my people out there, but that was,
It's a good story. It's a good
yeah,
story.
I mean,
They'll appreciate it.
I hope. I kind of got in the zone and let that one out.
So okay, so now you're doing libfood.com. Now you're
Yeah.
like, okay, corporate America. You really went through the trenches. You're trying to figure out your way. Boom. Now you at the point where LIB food. What made you decide to not go the restaurant route? Maybe like what you grew up seeing. You grew up seeing your parents with the restaurant,
Right.
and doing other caterings maybe and stuff like that. And
Right.
like you said, still not able to pay the bills. So what made you decide like, okay, you can do it? And why this route? Because you didn't open a restaurant.
Right.
You went
The idea kind of started like I said before. So we lived when I've always wanted to do it, but where we lived when we first moved to Atlanta, actually when I started doing it, we lived far out in the country where there was no Liberians, and understanding the dynamic of business. It's about location. So, you have to have a location to be able to facilitate a business. So, I never let circumstances stop me. So I'm like, how can I figure out how to get this done? Online's got to be the way. So I talked to a buddy of mine who was, I was out. Like, I ain't have a pot to piss in. So he was craving potato greens at the time. He was up in New York. I mean, he had a couple dollars. He was like, man, I want some potato greens. I was like, let me get you some. He was like, I'm serious. I was like, I'm serious too. He was like, okay, what do we do? I was like, send me $100. This business started off of $100. And I had a Jewish friend who always instilled a value in me to start small, and not invest in like a business and then hope that people come to it. So once he PayPal me that $100, I had no choice but to give him his product. So that's how I always wanted to do it. But I'm thankful for that friend that believed in me, to give me that money for me to start, to start that product. And I mailed it to him, and he enjoyed it. And then that started my social media frenzy.
social media is a powerful
Like,
thing.
I enjoyed the potato greens, whatever text he sent me, and I posted that. And then other people saw it.
Wow.
Like,
who knew? I didn't. I mean, I didn't know that. Yeah.
It was like, you mailing food?
It's crazy.
You serious? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. And then boom, orders started coming in.
They just started coming.
Wow. Yeah. Social media is a powerful thing. I
Absolutely.
had no clue that's how it started. So I guess so who are your major supporters right now?
Man, I look at everybody as a supporter. I never underestimate like anyone. I mean, like if somebody's spending $200 or $2,000, because you never know. Like I get orders or I get names. I look at everybody's name like the same because, I mean, you just never know.
Most of your clientele, are they Liberian or do you?
Most of them are. Most of them are. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
and what are your non-Liberian clientele like? What are their views on the food? Which like
they love it. They love it the same. They're just more. I guess they're more enthralled, or they're more like, they want to get more involved with like the culture. They want to ask more questions about Liberia and know more about the culture and like where Liberia is and what they just like they want to get more about Liberia, and that's a great thing because I think this exposes them to Liberia because this want like this leads them hopefully to like want to go home, like want to go to Liberia.
You're definitely putting Liberia on the map. So speaking of Liberia and the business, what is the, other than you being Liberian, you making Liberian food?
Yeah.
How is Liberia incorporated? Like are you locally sourced? What's the deal there? Are you using other Liberian businesses to help?
Absolutely. The deal there is integrity, right? So, the one thing I got to touch on here when I say integrity is the value of the product. Because I mean, just the other day, I think somebody called me and it was like, "Oh, I got some red oil from somewhere that's really bad. They have like some red dye in it, and people getting sick. And I'm just so happy that you're doing things, you know, that your product has like, you know, value, and you're really inspecting it to make sure it has quality." And that's something that people have to understand, because if you're asking, okay, for any business out there, I just got to click for the record. For any business out there, when you're asking someone, whether it's 231, you know, media, when you're asking for these price breaks on any business, you're kind of breaking the back of that business, because sometimes that price, if that person can't afford to operate at that price point, and they can't pay their bills, they're in a compromising position, right? So their business might not work, or they might fail, or sometimes and I hope they don't. I really hope they don't, because it's like, if you can't pay your bills, do you find a cheaper way of doing things? And that's something we will never do.
Yeah.
I would rather fail than to find like a cheaper product, or to go a cheaper way. So customers got to understand that, you know, every time you like, okay, I can't, you know, you're too expensive, or you're too this. Like, if I go to my purveyors, right? The key thing here is relationships. I can't go to my purveyors and be hassling them for price, because I got to keep the good quality. I got to keep the good quality.
Yeah.
Right? So I got to make sure I honor what their prices are. And I want people to do the same for me. Right. I want people to do the same for every establishment.
Yeah. So can we summarize that as you ain't really buying no products from Liberia, because the quality ain't really up to par?
No, sorry. Okay, sorry, I didn't answer that. No, I just got a container of red oil from Liberia.
That.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, back to, you know, to answer that, probably back to you. I even tried and I hope I don't mind. Like, I think you referred me to somebody that was doing dry fish.
Yeah.
So and I mean, he, like, we can talk. So he gave me the dry fish, and he tried it out. We tried it out, right? Because a lot of people come to me and say, "Hey, I have this," so we got to try it out. And it had and I mean, I hate to put, it had mold on it, right? So that's something that we can't use. Okay. Like, we take our products through quality control. Like, I can't serve that. There's nothing I can't even eat that. Yeah. And back to my kids. My kids eat this stuff. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this stuff y'all see, like, I'm not gonna let I don't know, like, other business what they do. I eat this stuff. My kids eat it. So it's not, I don't know what other business, they don't use their products, or they don't eat it. This is home to me.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna serve something that I don't consume.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, 100%, and I love the fact that you're even using the red oil from Liberia, because it's really keeping the. I mean, it's LIB food, but it's legit. You know what I mean? LIB
and
food.
I don't mind. I want to. There's a couple.
But no, I get it. It has to be up to par.
Yeah.
And the distance.
And I'm not saying like we're not. I'm not saying as a there's other. I mean, we do use dry fish. You know, what I'm saying, from Liberia and red oil. Those are the two main things we use right now.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So future expansion.
Future expansion, man. Is the restaurant coming?
You coming to DMV?
No, you know what? No, listen. I got an investor that called me just the other day. Right, he wants to franchise the business. Okay. So he actually wants to start in the DMV. Yeah. And I don't know if this is like new information. You're getting it first.
Great.
This is new information.
You heard it here first.
Just so he wants to start. We're still in talks. We're still, you know what I'm saying, working. There's a lot of logistics when you start a project. You know, so. The thing about what we have is we can move to any city because we're mail order, right? As far as LIB is concerned, so we can move to any city and still be able to mail food off.
Right.
So it doesn't affect anything. So those are the kind of encouraging. I guess those are the kind of things that we're talking about.
Okay.
So we can still have a restaurant in any location.
Yeah.
And still serve the client. So it doesn't affect anything.
Okay.
Now, I mean, this is new because like we've discussed that, but this is like a talk I haven't even had with like my family actually. So.
Yeah.
But I don't. You see, like investors come and like I have to really buy into what the numbers and how everything looks, and if are they serious about it before I even consider it.
Right.
So we're still in the beginning stages. So DMV is a possibility.
Yeah.
DMV is my quote unquote second home. You know what I'm saying? So I would love. I mean,
That's how I know you.
Yeah.
Our DMV
Right.
days.
I would love the opportunity.
So what about going global? I know the other day I went to go. I don't know if you know, because I know you know me by Kuki, but
Yeah.
I ordered some palm butter the other day, but it was under kubaki, so it's like you probably don't know.
Okay.
It's like
Everybody gets treated the same.
right. So went to took it to London because I went to London. That's where my boyfriend lives.
Okay.
And I was wondering, first of all, he's like, palm butter, palm butter, palm butter. Try to compare it to their Ghanaian palm soup. And I'm like, nah, not quite the same thing because I've had it before. But he loved it.
Okay.
What's the deal with the whole global, like, sending, like, do you ship international? What's the deal there?
We don't have as good of a discount globally because the way the discount thing works is the more you ship, the bigger your discount. So our discount is not as great internationally as it is locally. So with that is a little bit, I guess discouraging for our international clients because they say, but we do have some diehard international clients that say, hey, we want it and we'll pay like
whatever it is.
Yeah, like they pay.
Make it happen.
Yeah, they pay like the $250. Like they want it like just for shipping. Just for shipping.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's like these.
Okay. When I tell you gotta make that whatever they order, they gotta make it stretch.
But most times
they gotta make it stretch.
Most times it's like these and we love. I think like we love women are like that are expecting. I think like one of my favorite clients. Like we started with her. Like she was expecting and like they crave the food.
Yeah.
So like they have to. I mean, it's not like we're taking advantage, but they have to have it.
Yeah.
So like. They're wherever they are, like in the world. They're like, yo, my baby inside of me is craving this right now. And what we do is we try to push those orders, up to the top because we know the need.
Right.
And
so, what's your favorite Liberian dish?
Growing up, man, I'm more of a comfort food person. So like, split peas has always been my favorite. That just makes me feel comfortable.
With gravy?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
It wouldn't be the same.
Of course.
It wouldn't be the same.
No, you can't just have split peas. You know what I'm saying? You can't just have split peas. It goes without saying. You know what I'm saying? It goes without saying. You split peas, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's like peanut butter and jelly, right? You can't have peanut butter without jelly. Nah, split peas. I think it was like my mom used to make it for me. It's like when you're sick and you got like maybe a cold or you're not feeling well. It's like, Thal, you want some split peas? So that's always been like my favorite comfort food.
Okay.
But as far as people love the potato greens is like our most popular cassava leaf. Those two are the favorites.
Okay. All right. Oh, cassava leaf and
potato greens.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So gotta talk about this. Jollof rice.
Yeah.
Because everybody got... Okay, one thing you were saying earlier about Liberian food, what makes the quality different is that we use so many different, like, meats, right? We use the fish, the pig, the chicken, the this and the that thing.
Right.
And, obviously, we're Liberians here, so we're going to say, Liberian jollof rice is the best. But it's also because we put all those things in it.
Right.
So when you try other jollof rice and it just got chicken inside, and there was one thing you said the other day, I was like, something about one pot. Were you posting on social media the other day?
Yeah. I said, stop making your...
Shady.
Yeah, I got a little shade, little elbow, rub it in. No, because a lot of people want to do this jollof rice thing and they don't do it right.
You put yours in the oven.
No, I actually don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually don't.
Because
I
you're
think
doing bulk, obviously, too.
no, but I think but I think you just have to keep it in the pot. But I mean, you can still put it in the oven. I think the reason why people put it in the oven is just easier to cook. Is because if not, you really have to work it. You have to work the rice in the pot. Otherwise, you can just put it in the oven. You see, when you put things in the oven, it cooks from like the outside in. But when you put it on the stove, you have to really work the rice. So I think it's just a more a less esoteric process when you put it in the oven.
Okay.
So it's just easier. It's easier to cook when you put it in the oven. But I mean, I cook, so it's like, let's go.
Yeah. So, what's your, okay, obviously Liberian jollof rice is the best. What's next? What other jollof rice do you like? What's number 2? What's your top 3?
but here's the
if
thing.
You
You have to give respect to where jollof rice comes from.
Senegal.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, they are the originators of the jollof rice, right? They're Wolof. So that's where it comes from. So you have to give them like they the, I don't want to blaspheme, like they the gods of jollof rice. Like they.
But do you like their jollof?
I'm Liberian, right? So, you know, take that with a grain of salt. I mean, they are the original. I always
You gotta pay homage.
gotta pay homage. You know, you gotta respect tradition. So I would have to like honor, you know, in like food and like the culinary industry, you always want to respect like, you know, tradition.
Okay.
So whether I feel like ours is the best, you always want to, you know, respect tradition.
Okay.
Like they came up with it, you know, though we've added, and you can say we've perfected it.
100%.
Right, but you always want to pay respect to those that, because without them coming up with it, they didn't give us an opportunity. That wouldn't have given us an opportunity to perfect it.
Yeah. All right, but we're not giving no credit to the tomato-based. Hella.
That's not jollof rice.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, that's not jollof.
Thank you.
No, they gotta have a different category. Like, yeah, it's like, you know, it's like, you know, they got hip hop, they got rap, they got trap, they got, you know, they have their own category.
Right.
Yeah, like
what is this?
no, it's not it.
All right, so before we're gonna wrap it up a little bit, but I also want to talk about. First of all, I'm getting super duper hungry here. Like
Okay.
talking about food, but
You know,
anyway.
I brought you some. I actually brought you some food.
Stop.
Yeah.
This just escalated. Things
Some-
just
yes,
escalated real
just when
quickly.
we're done with this, I brought you some food.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
So, what I want to talk about is Liberian food sometimes isn't the prettiest. You know, the way with the rice and the sauce and all the different, it don't
Right.
really look all that good all the time. It looks good to me, you know, but to the norm, you know what I mean? Like, but you posted some super dope stuff online and you just made it look like
Right.
exclusive. And it already is exclusive to me. You know
Right.
what I mean? But like the way the presentation.
Right.
So tell us about that. Like how you like, you still keep the essence of it, but then just, you know.
So, okay, I guess with you know, everybody knows this. I mean, you eat food with your eyes first. So, like I said, like I was talking about in the beginning with the essence of how we cook. Pretty much, it's a lot of our dishes are soup based. So if you take that soup base, you can make anything. So the same way I'm making the vegan dishes with the combination stocks, right? You can still have like I got an opportunity to do. I've been praying about this, and without saying names, I got an opportunity this year to do like my first big, huge wedding, which I'm looking forward to. I'm really excited. It's like a big deal for me.
Yeah.
But with that, so you can pretty much deconstruct it, meaning you can take the meat. I'm not talking about like cooking it and then pulling the meat out, right? But you can still cook each vegetable
Yeah.
with the stock, with the combination stock. And then you can deconstruct it and then have your meats separately. But the thing with that is your meats have to look pretty. But a lot of, I don't know, I can't say a lot of people, but now that's going to show your skill, right? To show what you've done with the meat. Because now the soup can't hide the meat. because we're going to see everything.
Exactly.
Right? We're going to see everything.
Right.
Now we're going to see your work. We're going to see your knife skills. We're going to see what you've done with the meat. So that's like deconstructing it. So when I do events sometimes, that's all I'm doing. I'm just actually taking the sauce, or I'm taking the I guess the vegan or the cassava leaf, just the actual soup. But it's still tasty. It still tastes as if it was with the meat, but I'm just taking the meat out and then using that for presentation.
Okay. And I saw that you did something similar like to that in terms of like your presentation with Rich. Did you like do some type of like chef situation and like catered situation with him?
Yeah.
Because I think that's where I saw it.
Well, what I one of the dishes I did there was I did a cassava and gravy appetizer. So instead of doing the regular, cassava and gravy, because everything was still and I thank him because he called me and pretty much gave me like full range, like, man, yo, do your thing, and like that's like the greatest compliment when a client calls you and doesn't give you like, it's like, yo, I trust you. I've been knowing you for 6 years. I got guests coming over. It's my birthday. Have at it. Like, come through, do your thing. So like one of the things we did was it was like a bruschetta. You know how they have like the bread with like a meat thing on top or whatever. So I took the cassava and formed it into like a baguette, like a bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so the spread I use a smoked fish jam.
Did you make that from everything from
can't-
scratch?
that's
smoked fish jam. Where you gonna
that's
find
nowhere.
it? Get out! This is exclusive.
That's nowhere. And then
Smoked fish jam.
yeah,
you
and
can You can put that on the menu. That need to be online somewhere.
that's in the restaurant. That's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, that's coming. That's exclusive. So and then just took the fish and put it on top and garnished it with some microgreens and things like that. So that's but that's the beauty of our food.
Yeah.
It's no different than any food once you understand what you're dealing with. When you understand food, you can take it anywhere. The gastronomy of it is open.
Yeah.
Like you can do anything with food.
Yeah.
You can take a starch and twist it, bend it. You can do anything with it once you understand what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
A starch is a starch is a starch.
Right.
Like the macronutrients, anything like fats, carbs, proteins.
Yeah.
You can make any which way you want to make.
I don't even think you know this, but like I be like sometimes I be seasoning my chicken with your with your pepper sauce and stuff like that. I be throwing it on
man,
there.
people be eating that thing with Cheetos, man. I'm like, what
With Cheetos?
Yeah.
I'm done.
I'm like, I need to call them Cheetos people, and how they be doing the Doritos.
The fire.
Yeah, they be doing the Dorito competition. Like, get me on there. Let me do something.
LIB food.
Right.
Pepper sauce
Mixed with
flavor.
Doritos.
Right. Yeah. Well, Thal, thanks for agreeing to do this. Definitely, I love this interview. I learned so much about you, and I felt like I already knew you, especially following you on social media and just knowing you from like growing up and everything. Definitely an inspiration to so many young Liberians and just Liberians in general in terms of entrepreneurship, what you're doing. Something that when like which like for libfood.com, and when you think about things like Uber and all these like Amazon, it's always like it's one of those things like, dang, you know what I mean? Like it's there, you know what I mean? Like who didn't think of this? You know what I mean? And it's like I think it's so awesome that you thought of it, that it's going so far. And can you just tell everybody how to like follow you, how to reach you? Yeah.
No, I want to first of all thank you for the opportunity. I think all Liberians together. I think we got to lift each other up. I got a client. I mean, he's actually giving me like this phrase like. Rising water lifts boats. Like I think if we all come together, we all win. I think if one of us loses, we all lose. I think we all got to pull together. I don't care what the circumstances are. We're small. We're 4.5 million, whatever the number is. Shout out to all the people doing. I don't see competition. I don't see lack of. I don't see. There's so much. There's not lack. I don't see. There's nobody. I don't view competition. Shout out to everybody doing food. Shout out to everybody doing whatever they're doing. Like if you need my help, I'm here. Questions, hit me up. DM, all that. I got you. Thal, how you shipping? Thal, how you doing this? I got you.
Love it.
Recipes, the specific recipes. You
Probably
know,
won't.
that won't happen as far as LIB, but you know, because but the thing with recipes, and I know I'm going on, the thing with recipes, like I can give you a recipe, but you won't come up with the exact same result.
Right.
You know, like
Oh,
even
I know.
Yeah.
As a person
Right.
who is definitely not a chef,
Yeah.
I done been told how to make a couple things, and I'm like, it don't quite
Right.
taste the same.
But thank you for the opportunity. I mean, without your platform, I wouldn't even be here. And without 231 production, this won't happen. So I appreciate that, and I just thank the listeners for listening, giving me an opportunity. Like I said, I've been down and out, and I'm no different from anybody. I'm just trying to make it, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. So how are they gonna follow you?
libfood.com
On everything.
on everything.
Facebook or
That's it.
Instagram or.
And I've been, I don't like the main thing with that is like I'm a word of mouth person. But libfood.com.
libfood.com.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. And libfood.com. Check us out. So this is what we're going to do. If you're listening to this, and I know you're listening to this because it's Culture Crew Podcast, and this was a dope interview with Thal. So you repost. Make sure you at culturecrewpodcast.com, at libfood, at 231 Media, and do some like nice exclusive posts for us, and there will be a free dish coming your way. So thank you for listening, and till next time.